morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning for December 23, 2023, female cop reportedly shot his son after he allegedly attacked her with a knife. A female police officer reportedly shot her son multiple times in the chest after he allegedly attacked her with a knife. The news understands that the incident occurred sometime after 7 p.m. on Friday in the Ebony Vale community of Spanish Town, St. Catherine. The cop's son was reportedly shot 3 times. The identities of the parties involved are being withheld. It is also understood that shortly after the shooting, a police unit arrived on the scene and the injured person was quickly rushed to the hospital. 22-year-old man shot during confrontation with the police in St. Anne. A 22-year-old St. Anne man was fatally shot during a confrontation with the police in Retreat, St. Mary on Friday morning. Dead is Talon Spence, a painter of Steertown, St. Anne. Reports are that Spence was at a party in Retreat when he reportedly attacked a female patron with a firearm. However, a lawman who was on location intervened and opened fire at Spence, hitting him. Spence was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. 1.45 Taurus 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 5.45 rounds was reportedly retrieved from him. The Inspectorate and the Professional Standards Oversight Bureau and the Independent Commission of Investigations are probing the incident. 19-year-old charged over gun attack on Beryllium guards in Great Ground, Manchester. A 19-year-old man has been charged in relation to last week's gun attack on Beryllium security guards in Great Ground, Manchester. Armani Brown, a sales clerk of Hotline Avenue in St. Catherine, has been charged with 2 counts of robbery with aggravation, wounding with intent, possession of a prohibited weapon, possession of a prohibited weapon with intent to injure, possession of a prohibited weapon to cause serious damage to property, and a conspiracy to rob. Reports from the Mandeville police are that about 6:40 p.m., the guards were at a business establishment when they came under gunfire. When the shooting subsided, Brown, his accomplice, and the guard were shot. They were taken to hospital where the accomplice died and the guard and Brown were treated. A Winchester .38 firearm with 4.38 rounds of ammunition was also seized. Following an investigation, charges were laid against him on Thursday, December 21. He is scheduled to appear in the Manchester Parish Court on Wednesday, December 27. 2 wounded in Dunkirk gun attack. Detectives from the Area 4 headquarters are probing another gun attack in the troubled community of Dunkirk in East Kingston. 2 men were shot and seriously injured Thursday afternoon during an attack by hoodlums along Bray Street. About 4 p.m., the 2 men were walking along the roadway when they were attacked by a group of armed men who shot at them. The men were rushed to the hospital for treatment. The Bray Street community has seen a series of attacks over the last several weeks. 3 men were killed in the area in October. There have been several fatal shootings since then. Farmers encouraged to increase security during festive season. The Rural Development Authority is encouraging farmers to increase security around their farms, especially during the festive season. Senior livestock specialist with RADA, Maxine Brown, said farmers can invest in technology to keep their farms safe. Farmers can use motion detectors with lights, so when movement takes place, the light will come on and alert you that something is not right at your farming area. You can then call a police officer to come and investigate your farm, she said. Brown said the police will also be able to advise farmers on security based on the location of their farms and how animals are kept. Based on where your farm is located, they can tell you what may be potential areas of weakness from which somebody can breach your farm. You can use that information to strengthen aspects of your farm, she said. In addition to getting help from the police to protect the farms, Brown recommends that farmers who live near each other should work together. It's easy for persons to form WhatsApp groups. Farmers producing in a particular area can create a group so that if somebody sees something or hears something, they can quickly type a message so everybody can know that something is not right and they can go and check it out, she said. Meanwhile, RADA is also encouraging farmers to be careful while doing business transactions during the Yuletide season. The livestock specialist explained that thieves can come and take all of the farmers' animals, including those that the farmers had no intention of selling. Because of this, she is advising farmers to separate their livestock. If you select the animal that you want to sell, when a person comes to your farm to purchase, don't show them all of your animals. You don't want them to go too close to where you have all of the animals so that they can scope out your area or scope out your farm and come back and rob you later on, she said. Brown is also encouraging farmers to do cash transactions at police stations or banks instead of on the farm. You also don't want to do these transactions at night. Try to do it in the early part of the day where everybody can see everything clearly and you can see your surroundings and know what is taking place and if anything is looking too suspicious. If you're just not sure, sometimes you have to follow your instincts, she said. Jamaicans are more embracing of Goulding as a leader, says the PNP. General Secretary of the People's National Party, Dr. Dayton Campbell, says that Jamaicans have become more aware of the presence of PNP President Mark Goulding as a leader. His comment comes on the heels of Thursday's Don Anderson poll results, which showed a narrowing gap between the leaders of the two major political parties. The poll, which asked respondents which party leader they trusted more, saw 25% in favor of Prime Minister Andrew Holness and 21% leaning towards opposition leader Mark Goulding. The results coincide with September's poll, which saw a combined 29% of people giving the Prime Minister a good to very good performance rating, while a combined 24% gave Mr. Goulding a good to very good performance rating. Dr. Campbell said that the results are indicative of a nation ready to embrace the PNP leader. Citing the narrowing of the gap between the two leaders, Dr. Campbell said more people are now aware of Mr. Goulding's potential as leader compared to previous years when they were unaware of the work he had done.
A place where there used to be a huge gap between the two, and that no longer exists. Mark Goulding has just come to leadership in the country, just coming into the consciousness of people like that. A lot of persons are not aware of the work that he has done before in terms of when he was Minister of Justice, but we had to take him to the base of the party. This is not somebody that came up, for instance, say through the wire, or somebody that was in the party for a long time at a representational level, or somebody that had ambitions of leading the party, so they would have been building a network across the country. He wasn't doing any of those. He's just somebody that is an intellectual savant. He's somebody that just came to make his contribution, that has clean hands and a pure heart. Every vote counts, right? A vote for, regardless of the age group that you're in, it still counts as one vote. But at the same time, somebody who is between the age of 18 and 25 may not actually have a memory of a PNP government, because the PNP was last in power 7-8 years ago. Certainly we have to have a different communication plan to those persons, highlighting some of what we've done before, and then pivoting from that to where we want to go and the country that we want to create for them, as to how they will benefit from the programs and policies of a future PNP government.
Labour Ministry pursuing farm worker prospects for persons with disabilities. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security has been in discussions with several overseas farm work program employers in Canada with a view of their recruiting Jamaicans with disabilities. Portfolio Minister Pernell Charles Jr. made the disclosure recently. We have already started to have positive conversation with some of the employers in Canada, some of whom are open to the prospect of inviting and welcoming persons with disabilities who still have the capability and the right attitude for them to get an opportunity to engage in a program like the farm work program, he said. So we are taking those steps, having those discussions, and hopefully we can carve out a space for persons with disabilities in these programs going forward, the minister added. Charles recently visited Canada to engage with officials and key stakeholders regarding the farm work program. He also visited several farms which provided invaluable opportunities for engaging in intensive discussions with the farm workers on the ground. The minister also used the opportunity to review various notable locations pinpointed in prior reports to gain a comprehensive understanding of the program's status. Through these direct interactions, he sought to gather crucial feedback that will significantly inform future strategic directions to augment and diversify the program. Meanwhile, Charles said, following visits to farms in Canada and the United States, the ministry is now advancing what we would say are enhancements in the program, particularly in the selection and in the orientation of the workers, so that you can identify persons who not just have the physical skill, but have the right mental attitude and the mindset to take on the work. Every farm worker is an ambassador of this country, and how they perform is going to impact the opportunities for anybody else to come. So we are working with the employers, we are working with the Canadian USA partners, and with our local partners to make sure that we have the strongest, most robust program, and that we, most importantly, ensure that the work standard and the living conditions for all workers are where they should be, Charles said.